Library presents Political Power Scaling Punch-Out. So let's dive in and start some shenanigans. Many of you might be wondering what the hell I'm talking about. Well, if you've ever argued with your friend whether or not Baby Yoda, after having a blood transfusion from a coked up grizzly bear, could beat up Slender Man, then you've power scaled. I find it's a damn shame we don't make our elected officials stand on business. You want to pass your bill? I got a pair of bloody knuckles that says you ain't shit. So on the theme of the classic NES game Punch-Out, let's climb the leaderboard starting with the Democrats. Just like Punch-Out started with Glass Joe, we too start with Joe. No, not Joe Mama, Sleepy Joe. And like his Punch-Out counterpart, Sleepy Joe has many weaknesses. He often falls asleep or wanders off during matches. He is easily confused and struggles to form basic sentences.
The total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Despite these glaring weaknesses, Sleepy Joe does possess one incredible hacks. He completely counters Trump by dealing bonus damage through utter confusion. Biden can also manipulate the economy well after leaving office, much to Trump's chagrin. The devs really added some nice counterplay with Sleepy Joe, and Trump mains cried so hard about it that the devs did eventually release a balance patch where they nerfed him out of the game. It's Jover. If you're still here, consider subscribing for weekly shitposting videos. Moving on to round 2. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC for short, is America's #1 big booty Latina.
AOC, you're my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite.
She can use that junk in her trunk to distract her opponents in matches. Her other feats include being a queen from Queens, and she's always preparing and calculating for her next matchup, which is why she continues to climb the leaderboards. However, she's not without her weaknesses, like not wanting to use that juicy booty to her advantage. Her longtime boyfriend also kind of comes off as a cuck. I've also heard a rumor that she might be, brace yourself, part French. Our penultimate Democratic fighter is Chuck Schumer. He possesses the ability to ignore his opponent's overwhelming buffs, though some players argue whether or not this is actually a strength or a weakness, as he only ignores it mentally.
When he went below 40% in the polls, the Republican legislators started working with us. He was at 51, he's now at 48. We're going to keep at it until he goes below 40. When it happens, I am hopeful that our Republican colleagues will resume working with us.
This does transition well into how ignoring opponent buffs might be a strength. It allows him to keep at it, gaining a buff to his confidence if his opponent's health drops below 40%. His weaknesses include being almost completely useless until that buff does kick in. And this might not seem relevant, but I assure you it is. He is also the second cousin of the insufferable Amy Schumer. Side note, I realized Amy Schumer is kind of the Rosie O'Donnell of my generation. That's all I have on that. I just kind of thought of that while I was writing this. Our final Democratic fighter is Nancy Pelosi. Don't let her Crypt Keeper appearance fool you. She actually possesses Herculean strength, which allows her to tear off her opponent's heads so she can lay her eggs inside. Powerful Pelosi also has feats including scandal resistance.
As it turns out, it was a setup, so I take responsibility for falling for a setup, and that's all I'm going to say on that.
She also possesses stock market manipulation powers, and she can heal to full health when she consumes the soul of a child. But like all fighters on this list, she's not without her weaknesses. For instance, the joy and laughter of others.
We don't have the gavel. We don't have the...
I mean, tell me that's not the face of somebody who's currently taking damage. She also shares a health pool with her husband, sort of like a blood golem and a necromancer in Diablo 2.
Hi. Drop the hammer.
Nope.
Hey. What is going on right
I'm
now?
not getting an answer on call.
Oof, that had to hurt. Them both. By the way, you can tell her husband is drunk in that clip, not because he's not wearing pants on a weeknight. I mean, I'm not wearing pants right now and I'm stone sober. But because he doesn't drop his drink in the face of a hammer to his face. Side note, he was on house arrest for DUI when this happened. Now that we've finished the Democrats, let's see who the Republicans have in their roster. For their round 1 spot, Miss Ladybug, or as he's known on Capitol Hill, especially to DC Gigolos, Lindsey Graham. Yes, unfortunately, I can't let you finish this video without hearing why his nickname is Ladybug. The following is an unsubstantiated story from a DC male prostitute. When I came out of the bathroom, he was on the bed, naked on all fours. I noted that there were dark marks around his anus. I asked him if he had showered. He said yes. I asked him if it was okay if I wiped him down. He said sure. I wet a face towel and wiped between his buttocks, but nothing was coming off. Then I realized that his taint wasn't dirty, it was full of moles. Dark moles in dense clusters, up and down the lengths of his taint. "Aw," he said, "hope you don't mind, those are just my little ladybugs." I ran out of there. Now you know what I see in my mind anytime he comes up in the news. Any escort he's hired should be able to verify this. Before we get to strengths and weaknesses, I do want to just mention 2 things really quick. While I didn't model every person after an actual Punch-Out character, I did model Lindsey Graham after Don Flamenco, the rather flamboyant, shall we say, boxer. Secondly, I should mention that Graham's lifelong bachelor status is frequently questioned in his own party.
I've been joking.
Gaines.
Because he doesn't have.
Vice Chairman Paulson.
I have a rotating.
Mr. Leahy.
He's a bro with no hope.
Giga Chad Mark Kelly confirmed secret character? But back to Princess Ladybug. His strength is only increased anal resistance due to extra skin in the area, while his weaknesses are surrendering to any male opponent by presenting his pimpled posterior like so. I mean, I can take 5 if y'all need to get busy. Round 2 for the Republicans goes to Mitch McConnell. As one of the longest-serving senators in U.S. history at the youthful age of 83, let's ask Senator McConnell what his strengths are.
And a string of
Me when I underestimate the dab pen. But let's ask Senator McConnell what his weaknesses are.
what are my thoughts about what? That's
Me when my girl asks why my cock smells like her femboy brother. I'm not entirely sure, but this might be a time freeze ability that broke at some point. But I digress. Moving on to round 3. The Republican round 3 contender belongs to J.D. Vance, whose chubby cheeks provide a larger health pool for difficult matches. He's also a surprise opponent since he's so irrelevant that you forgot that he even existed. Which leads us to his special attack seen here.
You said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to
The "have you said thanks even once" spec confuses his allies, allowing him to take the spotlight briefly. However, he has equal parts weaknesses as well, starting with his Gerber baby chubby cheeks providing a larger hitbox for his opponents to score headshots. He's also helplessly, carnally drawn to couches. He makes love to love seats, which, hear me out, I think I understand now. God damn, the couchussy! I'm sorry, I digress. Part of this attraction to couches and subsequent bans from IKEAs is he has the personality of a couch, which makes it difficult for him to rally the crowd to cheer for him. And now, love him or love to hate him, our final boss, King Trump. King Trump has a litany of feats to go over. Comparative to the other fighters on this list, his power level,
It's over 9,000!
so let's start with his ability to dodge bullets.
Take a look at what happened.
This intuition or speed on its own would be impressive, but when you stack on his immunities to court orders, felonies, and Shane.
Although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
You can see why he's the final boss. However, we aren't even done yet, since we haven't mentioned his Supreme Court or legislative buffs. Finally, he knows how to work a crowd to his advantage from his time in the ring. However, as overwhelming as Trump sounds, he does have his weaknesses. For instance, Sleepy Joe has managed to sabotage the success of his tariffs with the help of his other long-term rival,
China, 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 China.
He also needs his shoes.
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
As shoes possibly prevent his infamous lean, Trump must also dual wield to drink water. While this may sound minor, this drastically increases his recovery time necessary, leaving him susceptible to attacks. And if you somehow manage to exploit all of his weaknesses to KO him, there's also his enrage phase to deal with. But as of now, no one's ever made it through the enrage phase, so his moveset remains a mystery. Well, I want to thank the 15 to 20% of you that stuck around until the end. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already for more of my dumb bullshit. For my next video, I have a half dozen or so ideas that I've come up with, but I've narrowed it down to 3 or 4. Let me know which of these sounds the best to you, or pitch your own idea. History's Greatest Gooners Part 2, or some sort of sexual deviance version. Greatest Gooners Insect Edition, where I categorize the weird sexual habits and sexual lifestyles of some very creepy insects. Or The Cringe Commander. Let me know. And I'll see you in the next one, guys.
Now, are you an edger or are you a gooner?